Hey, welcome back to Stu Man Rides. Today I get to ride a really cool motorcycle. This is a Yamaha R7 race bike. Yeah, so I'm gonna get to ride an R7 race bike. This is pretty cool. This is my friend Jimmy Avila's bike. He's kind enough to loan it to me. He trusting enough to actually let me ride this thing. He let me ride his R3 and I did a video on that, so he knows that I'm not gonna crash it. I shouldn't have said that, now I just jinxed myself. Anyway, so this is an R7 race bike. So this is what we classify as a lightweight twin. So here out at Chuckwalla Valley Raceway, the racing club is called CVMA. And we have a bunch of different classes that we race in. We have ultra lightweight bikes, which are the Ninja 400s basically, R3s, that sort of thing. And then we have the lightweight bikes, which this is one of them, also like the Aprilia RS660 and the R7. Probably those are the two most popular. I think there might still be some people racing SV650s. But this is a lightweight class bike. Then we have middleweights, those are the 600s, open bikes, those are the 1000s, right? So this is a lightweight twin. So this is an R7 and it's a really cool R7 at that. I'll show you some of the highlights of this bike. We'll start at the back and work our way to the front. So first thing you notice, it's got this really cool pink wheel. Jimmy said that's his lucky wheel, and so he goes really fast on that one. That's why it's pink. It's got a Yoshimura subframe on it. It's got a Yoshimura exhaust, as you can see. It's got a Penske shock. It's got attack rear sets, GB Racing case covers. It's got a Yoshimura airbox. It's got an A-Racer ECU that was mapped by Bryce Prince. This bike makes about 90 horsepower or so on U4 race gas, VP U4. It's got a R6 radiator. You can kind of see the brackets in there that Bryce Prince makes a kit that you can bolt up the R6 radiator to this bike. We got Attack Racing lever guards, ASV levers, Brembo master cylinder, Attack Racing clip-ons. We have GP Racing cartridges in the forks. We have a super cool 3D printed AIM computer mount on the top. I believe this was Josh Merrill that did this. Yeah, Josh Merrill. You can probably find him on Facebook in the CVMA group, but Josh Merrill makes those. Standard fairing stay, standard dash. He has EBC rotors, EBC pads in the brakes. This has Vance & Hines heads, ported and polished heads that are made for Yamaha. So you can purchase the heads from Yamaha, but Vance & Hines are the guys that set that up. So with those heads and the mapping that Bryce Prince did, the A-Racer ECU, Yoshimura airbox, you get about 90 horsepower out of this bike on U4 gas. So one thing I forgot to mention, he's got the Attack lifts on here. So instead of having the swing arm spool mounted up here where you normally would, you have this plate and then you have the spool on the stand. It actually makes it really easy to put the stand on and stuff. He's also got captive wheel spacers in here so that you can change the wheels a little bit faster. The spacers don't fall out when you're trying to put the wheel back in. So that makes things a lot easier as well. But yeah, so very cool motorcycle. I mean, this thing, you can compare it to the MT-07, and this is a sport bike, right? MT-07 was like a standard that they tried to make into a race bike. This thing's more like a purpose-built race bike. So looking forward to riding this thing. I'm gonna get out on it tomorrow. It's Saturday here at the track. We just got done riding, so I figured it would be a good opportunity to film this. And I'm gonna get out on this thing tomorrow and give you some impressions after I have a chance to ride it. So pulling out of the pits on the Yamaha R7. We're gonna roll out onto the hot pit here at Chuckwalla Valley Raceway. We're going counterclockwise, so backwards. If I mention turn numbers, they'll be in the order that they would be if you were running clockwise. That's just how we always refer to the turn numbers. But anyway, stopped here on the pre-grid, waiting to get let out onto the track. They're just waiting for a clear spot. You see Gene on an Aprilia RS660 pulling out in front of me. So things will get interesting with Gene here in just a minute, and we'll talk about that. But anyway, so kind of feeling out. This is actually the second session I did on this bike. First session I went out and my cameras didn't record for whatever reason, so had to go out on it again. So I had a better feel for it already. But the 360 camera kind of limits my ability to tuck in down the straight here. But anyway, coming up on a couple slower riders, Gene thinks he's going to go around the outside of that one. Didn't work out for him, so I'll take advantage and go by him and the rider. I think he's on a 400, not sure what kind of bike that is. Rolling up on another rider here on a Panigale V4. So we'll go around him on the outside here, keep on cruising. So at this point, I think Gene's behind me, thinking that I'm Jimmy. I'm on Jimmy's bike, but we're pretty different builds, so and different leathers. But anyway, so I'm going to go into turn 3 here a little bit hotter than what Gene was expecting, and he was going to pass me on the inside here, but I honestly didn't see him until like I almost ran into the side of him. Kind of gave him a little wave like, "What's up, dude? Why are you doing that on a track day? Chill." Anyway, so we come onto the front straight. I don't know if Gene rolled out of it or if I just got a better drive, but I was able to get by him again here. And then we talked afterwards, and it's all good. He just didn't think I was going to go into that corner as hot. And he was trying to get some open tracks, so he just rolled out of it and let me go and gave me some room. So anyway, it was a pretty fast lap on the R7. And just trying to focus on getting on the throttle as soon as I can here. You'll notice in a couple spots where I run it up against the rev limiter, the power is very linear and it doesn't kind of fall off or anything towards the top of the RPM range, so you just end up running it up against the rev limiter a little bit sooner than you would expect. I think I hit it here down at the end of the back straight there. Probably could have gone up a gear, but then I would have had to go back down 1 or 2. Anyway, up over the top of Crash Corner here. It's the best thing about these twins is you can carry a whole bunch of corner speed. I like the engine braking that a twin has. It's got a little bit more engine braking than your typical inline 4. And it just helps you kind of get the bike turned and get it through the corner pretty well. Around these real long double corners that Chuckwalla has, it's super comfortable on the R7, just getting locked in and having your knee kind of wedged into the side of the gas tank to support your weight. I think I hit the rev limiter here again. And you also might notice there's a check engine light on. Talked to Jimmy about that. It's just the flash. He's going to have that resolved. There's nothing wrong with the motor. And yeah, that's a lap of Chuckwalla. Looks like a 158 flat. So not a bad lap time considering it's not my bike and I don't want to throw the thing down the road. So. All right, so I just got done riding the R7, and yeah, this bike is pretty darn cool. Super happy that my buddy Jimmy let me ride this thing. It was a lot of fun. I got to actually mix it up with one of the other racers a little bit, which was pretty neat. Kind of stuffed me, and I got a little pissed off at him, but it's okay. So anyway, yeah, bike was awesome. Number one, biggest thing I noticed, the motor has a lot of grunt. It's not super fast, like I'm used to riding 1000cc bikes, right? So this is a little bit smaller, a little less horsepower, but the twin has a lot of torque to it, and it's very smooth the way it puts the power down. Not a big high-end rush or anything, just a very linear feel of power all the way up to redline. Rev limiter, which I hit many times. I was trying to figure out, I don't know if I wasn't seeing the shift light or what, but I kept hitting the rev limiter in a couple spots. So don't tell Jimmy about that. But anyway, yeah, so ergonomics on the bike felt really good. The attack clip-ons, rear sets, right, just in the right spot for me. I think me and Jimmy are fairly similar in height, so that was good. And the ergonomics of the bike just felt great. The way you can hook your leg into the side of the tank here. He's got some tank grip on. That makes that a whole lot easier. So feeling very locked into the motorcycle was nice. The quick shifter worked really well. A little abrupt maybe, but nothing, you know, nothing crazy. And brakes work really good. Slipper clutch kind of messed with me a little bit. When I was going into the corners, there's no auto blipper, so you have to manually do your downshifts old school style and rev match and all that. But it's got a slipper clutch that slips quite a bit. So a couple times I'm like letting the clutch out after a downshift and waiting for the clutch to engage, thinking maybe I hit a false neutral or something, but it was just the slipper clutch doing its job. Which was actually really nice once you get used to it, but it took me a little off guard. So the chassis is very well sorted, handles great, tires felt good, everything about it, like at lean angle, I think it was going pretty good. It felt very stable. It was easy to turn in, but not twitchy, which was nice. But the biggest thing I think I noticed is the stability of it. You have a lot of feel when you're in the corner, a lot of feel on corner entry. It doesn't have a ton of power, so you're not going to like light the rear tire up or anything, so you can get on the gas real early and get on the gas real hard. Probably a lot harder than what I was doing, but it's not my bike, so I don't want to throw it down the road. In any case, yeah, it felt really good. It was a super fun bike to ride, and I think it would be a great bike to compete in the lightweight classes out here at Chuckwalla. I know that there's been guys that have built these motors a little bit more than what Jimmy's done, and you can get quite a bit more power out of them if you need to. And I think if you wanted to compete against the Aprilia, you would probably need to do some of that. But as it is, you can go pretty fast. I think my best lap time was like a 58 flat. So not the fastest lap time in the world, but not bad for a bike that I'd never been on and wasn't mine. So I'll make a lot of excuses for it. But in any case, it was a lot of fun to ride, and I had a really good time riding it. And so highly recommend if you're looking to get into racing. The ultra lightweight classes are really good, but the lightweights are another really great place to start. So if you're one of those people that's just like, oh, you know, a lightweight bike, it's just not enough power for me, I'm a big guy or whatever, and you want something with a little bit more power, but you don't want to jump into the mix right away on a 600 or 1000, I think this is a fantastic place for a new racer to start. So yeah, that's the Yamaha R7. And I guess that's all I have to say about it for now. But one thing I wanted to talk a little bit about, just to kind of wrap things up, is some of the history behind this lightweight class. I raced this class years ago and had a good friend that was one of the first guys to race like an SB650 out at Willow Springs. So years ago, the lightweight twins class was dominated by the Kawasaki EX500. It's a parallel twin, and that was like the bike to have for the lightweight twins class. And then the SB650 came along, and it changed kind of everything because it was way faster. It was legal for all those lightweight twins classes, and everybody started racing them. And it has been probably one of the most popular race bikes ever, right? Club racing, like everybody's raced an SB650. I raced one years ago, and yeah, so anyway. So along with the SV650, a little bit later came the Ninja 650. I actually used one of those to set a lap record at Willow Springs for their lightweight twins class. I think I went 27, maybe 26. I don't remember exactly, but it was somewhere in that range. Anyway, so Ninja 650, trellis frame, not really the best platform. It was competitive with the SB650s, but I think the SB650s, it was a little bit easier to get power out of them means they were just, you could put like boost pistons in them and other things to make them a little bit heftier and stand up to withhold a little bit more power. So after that, it was those two bikes for a long time, mostly the SV650, and then the FZ-07 platform. One of the guys out here at Chuckwalla, Andy Palmer, started making FZ-07Rs. So he was turning the FZ-07 into a race bike. And they competed very closely against the SV650s. Wasn't really the best platform. They had to do a lot of work to them to get them to be competitive with the SVs. But a lot of people did race those. And then the Aprilia came out, and then this R7 came out. Now these bikes dominate the lightweight twins classes out here. I don't think there is anybody racing an SV650 here on the lightweight twins grid anymore, which is kind of surprising. I'm sure that they're still used around the country, but the R7 and the Aprilia RS660s are really the bikes to have. The lap records for the class were set on the Aprilia RS660s. There was a guy that was racing one of these that was getting close to those lap times, but the Aprilia seems to maybe have the edge within our rules structure anyway. So anyway, that's a little bit of history on the lightweight twins class, which this bike fits into very well. All right, so thanks a lot for watching Stewman Rides. I hope you enjoyed the video. If you did, give it a thumbs up. That helps. Comment if you have anything that you'd like me to talk about. I'm always in the comment section and respond to pretty much all of them. I don't get that many, so it's all good. Yeah, so if you like the video, give it a thumbs up. Subscribe to my channel. Thank you to my sponsors, 6D Helmets, Alpine Stars, 5 Gloves, Dunlop Tires. I hope I'm not forgetting anybody else. Racer's Edge. Oh, and I want to thank Race Pace Track Days for allowing me to come out and film today. So if you're in the Southern California area and you're riding at a fairly decent pace, come out and check out Race Pace Track Days. They don't accept beginner riders. We don't have like a C group or anything like that. But if you're like B group or better kind of rider, come on out. And it's an open track all day long. Ride as much as you want. So no sessions. It's pretty cool. Anyway, thanks to Race Pace Track Days. Like, subscribe, all that good stuff. See you in the next one.